how to run the Market Sauce 9000 recipe, specifically section 1 of the master buyers. And in this video, I'm going to be demonstrating how to run the Market Sauce 9000 recipe, specifically section 1 of the master buyers blueprint, so that you can create and build a customer avatar. You may have heard this called ideal target audience, ideal customer persona, avatar, a number of different names, but how do you create that persona, that character of your best customer, and understand what's driving them to make their buying decisions? And so we'll be showing this through the recipe that you can find when you have a copy of our Buyer's Brief book. And I'm using the Google Doc version of this right now because it's very easy to copy and paste the instructions and the prompts. But I'm going to show you now point blank how you go about doing this and running this recipe in the first place. So part 1 of the book, if you've got the book, you will know that you've got the whole examples of the inputs and the outputs. And so we're not going to be using inputs, outputs. When we're using Claude, in this case, to run the recipe, I'm going to go to part 2, which is just going to be the recipe, and that will be a blank slate recipe that will not clutter anything up with my outputs from part 1, so that you can just insert your context and you can go and hit the ground running. All right. So part 1 is all example inputs and outputs. And when you scroll back down to part 2, the Market Sauce recipe, introduction to the recipe. This is part 2 of the book. Basically, these are just symbols that we're going to be following along to know what's a variable, where are we starting and running a prompt. And a lot of this is open for you to adjust and build on top of. So keep that in mind. But we've got all of our specific sections here. I'm going to be covering specifically in this demo the Master Buyer's Blueprint. And then, of course, you've got a number of different trainings and workshops that you can go through as part of this book. Make sure you got those bonuses if you are, you should already have those if you're getting this video. So just specifically to get you going, you want to go down here to the Market Sauce 9000 instructions and context. You need to answer these questions in some way, shape, or form to start moving on to the next part. So who is your target audience? What's their goal? Why do they want that? What industries are you serving? Where are they located? Company size, buying intent signals. You might not have to fill out every single one of these prompts here, but the more detailed you can get and more specific you can get, the better the outputs you're going to be creating. And so effectively, again, like if you want to be filling this out in a lot of detail, answer all of these questions, but you could start with just a 32-word blurb about who you are, what you do, who you serve, how you're different, and you can work from there. And so everything, again, the more context, the more refined, and the more you run this, the more detailed you're going to get with all of these inputs. But at the end of the day, this is what you need: your user inputs, your product or service, the segment, the niche, and the context. Okay, so I'm going to start first and foremost by copying this context right here. You could copy this as well. And I'm going to tab over to Claude. And I'm going to start my Claude conversation so that we can get the ball rolling. So I've gone to part 2. I am in the Market Sauce 9000 recipe, and I'm filling out my user context. I'm going to make up an example here. I'm going to start a chat inside of Claude. And again, if you use ChatGPT, feel free to. I'm getting the best results out of this inside of Claude right now. And if you find that Claude's not formatting your outputs in the H1, H2, and bullet point format that you'd like, you might need to specifically ask it to write out the outputs with that sort of formatting. I'm not going to get into that sort of detailing, but just so you know, the way that content gets outputted with Claude sometimes gets formatted that way, sometimes it doesn't. So you might need to add additional instructions. But basically, what can I help you build today? First, right, I'm going to paste my user inputs right here. And I'm just going to add user input. Just to show you guys, this is how you would fill this out at the very least. Product or service, briefly describe your product or service. So I said we were going to be doing real estate, so we're going to do that. I'm going to say real estate broker. Cool. Now that's the product that luxury real estate broker. segment. Who is the broader market segment that we are catering to? So in this case, I'm going to say we're catering to millennial millionaires. If I can spell millennial right. So my product or service is luxury real estate brokers, luxury real estate broker. My segment is millennial millionaires. And my niche is going to be like luxury real estate listing agent or listings. Let's just do like listing sales. All right. So we're in the niche of a luxury real estate listing sales, and the context, and this is where I'm going to add a little bit more, right? So you've got your product, you got your segment, you've got your niche, and now additional context. And so I'm going to say we provide on white glove real estate listing services to sell our clients homes at top dollar while also helping our clients secure their next luxury home or investment property. Okay. So obviously there's a lot more information you could add in here. This is the bare minimum of what you should be providing the AI for context to get at least going in the right direction and focused in on who you are and who you like, what you do and how you serve. And I like to add in a little bit more on the context about like what actually makes you unique, right? Like this is where you would add this in your business. What's the mechanism that is unique to you and that helps you deliver those results? I'm going to say we do this by leveraging our proprietary system and network of buyers, let's just say luxury buyers worldwide, to make custom matches and ensure the listing being sold is positioned specifically to the ideal buyer. All right. So now we've got this AI proprietary system and a network of luxury buyers worldwide that helps us make custom matches and ensures the listing is sold and positioned specifically to the ideal buyers. Okay. I'm going to shift and click enter now twice, which is just giving me a little bit of space to keep my context here. And now I'm going to tab back to my manuscript. Okay. I've got my user input now. I'm going to tab back to the manuscript. And now is where the fun starts. Instructions. This is now what we are telling the AI. Actually, quick note. I said user input above buyer's brief for product or service. It's actually going to fill that out. So I'm going to copy this because our instructions are we're looking at the user inputs and we have our product or service. And so it's going to say that because of what we inserted right here for the product or service to luxury real estate brokerage. This whole series of instructions is step one for honing in our thread inside of Claude, which I'm going to tab back to right now that I've copied it. So Claude knows that, hey, this is the user input. This is the instructions of what I'm supposed to do. Oh, I want to make sure that Claude understands that we're trying to learn who this market is and get inside of their heads. So now I've pasted in that first set of instructions, click enter, and now we see here is the buyer's brief for luxury real estate broker targeting millennial millionaires. So we can see home top dollar. We also assist clients in securing their luxury homes through our proprietary system, strategically positions in markets that do appeal. You've got your market segmentation, right? So luxury millennial millionaires, 25 to 40, net worth of 5 million plus, tech savvy, well educated, and they're working in high paying fields like tech, finance, law, medicine, or have inherited wealth, right? So as I'm seeing this, I want to make sure as the human that's involved with it and directing this system is confirming that this is true and that it's on the right track. If it's not, sometimes AI just AIs and goes way off the rails. We want to make sure it's focused in. Looks like it's on the right track right now. And so as we get down to the psychographically, they value experiences over things, self-actualization, wants their home to be an expression of their refined tastes and success, distinguishing traits, right? And so I'm seeing like, okay, this is like a little bit more who this person is and how we can start to talk with them. Aim to position our brand as a premier luxury service for the next generation of wealthy who expect nothing less than the best, right? So we got like a work hard, play hard quote in here, functional needs, eco-friendly features, ample space for entertaining. You know, again, this is giving us that initial snapshot as well of like, who is this person and how are we serving them, or how can we potentially serve them and help them with obtaining their house or buying into a house, right? Because we're going to be selling to these folks as well. So we've got status seeking, fear of missing out, going into the segment's real estate decisions, self-actualization, aspirations for the exclusive, prioritizing of time, and then the confluence of these is the immense purchasing power means the segment won't be able to sell for home that falls short of their high expectations. So as I'm seeing this, it's giving me a lot of ideas that if I were to go into this market, how can I begin to position myself so that I can connect and resonate with this particular segment of the market? Because, right, real estate, there's a lot of different market segments. This is luxury to millennial millionaires, not someone that's, you know, maybe minimum wage looking to get their first home, right? On a totally different market, totally different financial means, and the situation is just different for the different segments of the market. And so this is just one example of how we're getting started with millennial millionaires and luxury real estate. But how can you apply this to who are you serving in your market? What's your niche? And how specific can you get on who your ideal clients and customers are? And so once you get this ball rolling here, now I want to go back over and begin section one. We've been setting the table, so to speak, up to this point. We have added in our context. We've answered the questions that need to help focus AI just a bit more on how we can move it down the path of finding success and understanding more about this target market to make more informed decisions as marketers, as founders, as business owners. And to go even further, let's do this. Master Buyer Blueprint. We're going to copy this right here. Section 1. So now there may be some redundancy here, but ultimately I want to follow this top down and make sure I'm getting all the information I need. As I copy it into my Claude thread and then paste it, Claude understands the context above it and is now helping us with getting even deeper into this market segment. So we have high net worth individuals, and it's breaking down what it already started to build off of. So we have our geographic, our demographic, our psychographic, a little bit of reiteration here on what we've already given it. Tech immersed, social capitalists, fear of missing out. So to tap into the millennial millionaire mindset, the brokerage must position itself as the preeminent luxury firm of the future, high tech, high touch, high exclusivity. The insiders track the gem properties and make the portfolio and lifestyle shine. All right, so we see that here. I'm going to tab back now, and we're really focusing in this next prompt to the primary goal. And from that primary goal, it's important to note that that's going to feed, based on what we've given it, everything else inside of this blueprint. So what I want to do is highlight that primary goal and the primary goal topic. I'm going to copy that, paste it back into my Claude thread, simply a dance back and forth, knowing what prompts to use and when, adding that in with the right context, primary goals, right? So I'm going to want to choose one of these goals to focus in on. Dream home, status, wealth preservation, lifestyle upgrade. See, any number of these can change the direction of where the rest of the blueprint's going to go. And so this is a situation where, as again, the human that's operating the system, you can make a decision, right, as to which one are you going to choose. In this case, I'm going to say it's a lifestyle upgrade. Let's go with number 5. All right, so now that we've got lifestyle upgrade, I've told it that that's going to be the niche that we're focused in on. Now I'm going to start. It didn't, you see, I copied the primary goal and the primary goal topic. It wanted to get this first, and it didn't go on directly to the goal topic. If I asked it to continue, it probably would, but I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. And now that I've got the primary goal, I'm going to copy and paste the rest of my goals section in here. So I've got my goals, hopefully now more, that I've got my number 1 goal. And so we can see it's moving on. It skipped over the goal topics. That's fine. We can always go back and edit it and ask for it to give us more of those topics. But what we have here now, the complaints, right? So what are the complaints? What are the problems that this market is having? And like, how can we help address that with our follow-up content, with our communications, with how we're interacting with this segment of the market? And are we addressing these problems or these concerns, or the stress, the limited inventory, the don't offer smart home the latest tech and amenities, they're bland, right? So we've got topics: time drain, efficiency, coordination, secondary complaints, so related to the lifestyle upgrade. So again, highlighting this, that lifestyle upgrade is what everything is getting mapped back to. And so how are all these related to their lifestyle upgrade? Finding designers to capture their vision for bespoke interiors, concerns about privacy and security, lack of expert guidance, and tax implications, right? So like, what is these different things that people are thinking about, that if we can remove all of these doubts and all of these problems, or if we can focus in on solving the number 1 problem out of everything that we see here, is that going to help build that trust and nurture those relationships? In a lot of cases, it will. And this will help with informing those decisions that you're going to be making, and using real feedback in your experience to hone in on the top things that you want to be focusing on and using in your marketing. So we've got that. We've got our goals, showcase their success and style with the statement home. So you can see those here. And again, more goal descriptors, positioning statements, effortlessly elevate your lifestyle with a white glove luxury real estate listing service. And we've got more on that. So more of the positive feelings. We've only got 2 messages left. And so now what I want to do is that we've set the table to this point. It's going on the right track. I'm going to take overview, and sometimes Claude does a lot. Sometimes it doesn't do everything that I want it to do. Oftentimes it will try. It doesn't always make it all the way. But now I'm going to go ahead and copy all the way down to offer targets. Again, this is a demonstration. Sometimes you want to keep going prompt by prompt by prompt. Sometimes you're limited in what Claude will give you. I'm just going to tell it continue top to bottom for the rest of the prompts. So now what it's doing is it's going to take all the context that it's got above, and it's going to continue elaborating on everything, starting with the objections. And so now we're going into deeper what we see with the objections. How do we address that? What are the negative feelings? Frustration, disappointment, annoyed, confused, impatient, ultimate fears, settling for a subpar home that doesn't live up to the expectations, overpaying for a home, right? And all of these things, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into them. But how about having this snapshot, this market particularly? Are you addressing all of this marketing messaging? Are you speaking to the goals? Are you helping them overcome their top pains or their number 1 goals or desires? And what are they trying right now? What are the mistaken beliefs that are holding them back, that by bringing the truth to the table can help overcome those limiting or mistaken beliefs, and show them the alternative, and you building trust all along the way. The enemy, like, who is the enemy out here? How can you position yourself against what is maybe negative or misrepresentation of reality TV, or unsavory agents who only care about making a quick buck, right? There's things that you can absolutely position yourself to go up against, and align yourself with this segment of the market specifically. So now we're getting into the primary cause to find. It's antiquated approach. They don't align with their fast-paced, digitally native lifestyles, high expectations through customer service at the click of a button, right? And so, like, getting into like really defining what this cause is, and getting that look under the hood about the different consequences that we may run into if they don't work with an agent that can help them actually get this goal. What are the consequences of not solving this problem, basically? So what are the consequences of settling? Can make waking up every morning feel like a chore versus an inspiration, right? Like, that's a consequence of not getting the home of their self. So how can you incorporate some of this language into your narrative? And as you're telling stories, watching your dream home slip away while mired your decision fatigue, right? That one stands out to me, wondering what if after the decisive second best negative statistics, right? So AI is coming up with these statistics. You'd want to fact check those and make sure that true. And, just make sure that, again, with AI, sometimes information like from statistics, a lot of times it might pull a number that you just want to verify that. So just keep that in mind and validate everything in here. That's what marketing is getting the idea and then testing those ideas, and, testing our assumptions about what is true versus what is actually resonating with the market. And so this is all helping us inform those decisions to be more precise and less about guesswork and more about understanding our market at a much deeper level. And as you can see, this is quite the run that we're on right now. We have gone from the first part of the goals and understanding our context to down here as we get into the solutions, and what are some of the false solutions that this market has tried, or like they've tried it before, but it's not something that's actually going to help them get the result, or what's a myth about success that they hear, that when I run into this at the end, I just say continue. I'm at my last message of the next few hours, which means I'm going to have to cut this video off short if we don't finish all the way to the bottom here. But you can see how much context we've been able to provide, Claude in this case, to what it's able to produce on the output side, and keeping in mind that you could do each one of these prompts section by section, right? Solutions, topic, challenges. This is part of the prompt inside of the Market Sauce 9000. You could just use this prompt by yourself and keep stacking these prompts one at a time to make sure that every single time it's producing an output, that you're double checking it and you're moving along the way. You'll run into limitations on messages for a time period that will potentially slow you down if you want to be producing an entire blueprint in one sitting. Or prompts here. Sometimes you might find that you can take these prompts and modify them and create your own variations on this. That's cool too. My goal with these prompts is to give you the whole entire recipe for how we go about creating these, utilizing our Market Sauce systems. And again, I know it's a lot, but also going through this process is part of the research phase and helping you download this particular segment of the market. And I get a lot of value just going through and reading this as I'm going through any specific project with a client or a potential client that I'm looking to win their business. This helps me understand, as I generate this content and as I read it, that I am also educating myself while I am going through this process, and I am leveling up my own understanding of my market because I'm going through and I'm watching and I'm interacting with it. And so I think there's a lot of value in being able to go through and do this yourself, but I also understand that this is a lot and it can get confusing, and all these AI tools and systems are upgrading every day, it seems, such as Claude upgrade might help us be able to run the entirety of the blueprint in one go. I haven't done the entire blueprint just yet in one go, but as you can see here, as we come to the very end of the prompt, I think it was 3 or 4, 5. We can go back up and count if we want. As you can see here, we've made it all the way to the bottom of our blueprint, which leads us to section 2, the creator brief, which would then be going a step further and refining our messaging for our entire team for a marketing campaign to go out and engage with these customers and clients. And as we can see here, when we wrap up the blueprint, we've given so many different ingredients that make up the psyche of a particular market segment. And of course, everything can be tested even further. And you should use this information in your language to determine what's resonating with the real humans that you're speaking with, and then translate that back into another rendition of these prints to continue to refine and hone in on your understanding and speak the language of your market, and hone and clarify your messaging, and understand that you might be speaking to one segment of this market, but also now consider the offer targets: a dual career power couples climbing the corporate ladder versus a tech startup founder and early employee with IPO windfalls. Two distinctly different millennial millionaires, right? And that's just two: a crypto millionaire, a social media influencer, right? And it's even given me a why behind this. Millennial CEOs, serial entrepreneurs taking sabbatical after exiting ventures, doctors and lawyers, look at all these different segments of the market. You can go deeper into any number of these. And so when you hear creating your customer avatar and building an avatar and understanding your ideal target audience, right? You can go a lot of different ways, and saying, oh, I serve millennials ages, 30 to 35 who are in tech. Okay, that's great. But are you potentially missing professional athletes and entertainers, or are dual career power couples climbing the corporate ladder and have a lot of money with their salaries to invest in, a home? And could that be somebody that is right in your backyard that you're not considering and talking to? And keeping in mind, right, for any market or niche, what are the other areas of opportunity that might be right under your nose? You just haven't considered that market, or you haven't tested any languaging for that market. And it could open up an entirely new market and of revenue if you're positioning your products or service to that market by simply understanding at a deeper level of who they could be through the buyer's blueprint. And that's how you run it with the Market Sauce 9000 recipe, section 1 of the buyer's blueprint. I would take all of this information here as I go to wrap and refine everything. I would put it inside of a Google document and make sure that I have it handy and that I update it, and I am reading through and highlighting certain areas of the blueprint that stand out to me, and that I'm taking that and I'm going and testing out the language in my marketing and messaging and confirming what I have found here in terms of research, and then updating my document, updating my brief as I get more and more of that research back to make better decisions on my end by understanding the mind of our market. I hope you found this helpful. If you do, make sure that you're obviously subscribed to us on YouTube so you get more of our videos on YouTube, but also that you're tuned in with us in our community and our newsletter so that you know exactly how to run these types of recipes, or you just reach out to us at marketsauce.ai and we can help you with creating them custom for you. You just answer a few questions like I did here, and then we'll run all of this in the background for you. But also with that in mind, just keep an eye out for the next evolution of Market Sauce that you'll see that will take what you're seeing right here and simplify it even further for you. That's coming soon. Until next time, keep calm and AI on. I'll see you on the other side.